Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks. Another live stream Thursday evening, 7:35 p.m. We'll have a look at some of the stories that have caught my attention in the press today. We'll go into the comment section, check out what has been happening there also. Plenty of comments left on yesterday's video, so plenty to go through there. And then in the second half of today's live stream, we'll go into the chat section here to my right, check out what is happening there, check out what is bubbling away in that chat section. Now, before we begin, I'll put the like icon on the screen. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so just below the video, whether you are on Facebook or YouTube. It doesn't matter. You will see a like button below the video. So do me a favor and hit it, please. Now, into the news I go, and as the days go by, the strategy that Mr. Sanchez is looking to employ here in Spain becoming clearer by the day, and basically any political party on the right side of the political system here in Spain is being called extreme. As we can see here, Sanchez calls the PP and Vox extreme right wing and regrets the undeserved punishment of the 28th of March. The head of the government has begun to prepare for the 23rd of July campaign, in which he aspires to his re-election by warning his parliamentary groups during a meeting in Congress with the PSOE deputies and parliamentarians, whom he has asked to fight the battle against the right and the extreme right that is emboldened and has no shame in going backwards. Sanchez predicts that stormy times lie ahead until the 23rd of July, and from the right they will accuse him of fraud in the next general elections, he assures. He compared the PP and Vox to Trumpism and warned that the media will say barbarities about them because the right has a position of dominance in the mainstream media. So there we go. Sanchez yesterday on the front foot, attacking anybody on the right side of politics here, basically asking the electorate why they didn't vote for him, what went wrong, and as we can see here, the undeserved punishment he thinks it was, those election results last weekend. And basically, it's clear, I think, Mr. Sanchez and company, his left-wing colleagues here in Spain, are just out of touch with what's happening in the country. They've done things that a lot of people, as we saw, the majority, don't agree with. So the idea now is to attack, as I said, anybody on the right side of politics, and also the press, who, as Mr. Sanchez points out there, he believes are supporting only right-wing political parties in this country. So interesting times ahead. Now, on the topic of politics still, the opposition leader, Mr. Feijoo, has made a statement today. He has recognized that he doesn't speak foreign languages, and he says that he's confessed that he does not know how to speak English. I will start to study it. It's my obligation, he says. Alberto Núñez Feijoo has confessed to Ana Rosa Quintana on her program that he does not know how to speak English. I am bilingual from the point of view that I speak Galician, but my problem is English, he lamented. It's the pending subject of the opposition leader, although he assures that he has already started to work on it. I have started studying it. It's my obligation, he admitted. He revealed that he had already hired a teacher to help him defend himself in the language of Shakespeare since last Monday, once the municipal and autonomous regional elections were over. But with the new elections, his good intentions have gone down the drain. So if finally he becomes president of the government on the 23rd of July, he will rely on an interpreter. So there we go, Mr. Feijoo admitting that he doesn't speak English. Mr. Sanchez speaks English fairly well, I should say. One of the best politicians that I've seen here speaking a foreign language, English, because that's the one that obviously I understand. But politicians before, or leaders before Mr. Sanchez, Mr. Rajoy, zero level of English. Mr. Aznar, very low level of English. Mr. Zapatero, zero level of English also, I believe. And Mr. Feijoo joining that club of politicians that don't really speak foreign languages. And the question is, do politicians here in Spain need to speak foreign languages, whether it be English, whether it be German, French, even Portuguese, Italian, another European language? Do they need to speak English or another foreign language? That's the question. So I'll open that question up to the chat section today. Should it be compulsory or necessary for politicians, top-level politicians, to have second language skills. I believe that it is. I think they need to be able to negotiate, sit down and make relationships with the other politicians in other countries to help get things done and sorted out. And if you have to work through an interpreter, could be a little bit long, I think, the process. Don't know. But as we can see here, he has confessed. Now, the next piece of news, Correos are going to hire 5,500 workers to cater for the increase in remote voting for elections. The call for general elections in the middle of the peak holiday season will put the postal voting system to the test, which, since the day after the announcement of the call by the President, Pedro Sanchez, is registering a higher demand than usual. Correos, the public company that organises, together with the National Statistics Institute, all the logistics of the procedure, does not give the figures on the number of requests it receives to exercise the right to vote by post, but admits that participation, open until 13th of July, will be much higher than in previous calls. In fact, today it has announced that it will reinforce its workforce. It is the public company with the largest number of workers, with 5,500 people exclusively to cope with the workload that is coming up in the coming weeks. So last week, Spain's postal voting service was in the spotlight because of fraud, and now we see the Prime Minister, the genius that he is, calling elections on the 23rd of July, meaning that more people, given that they will be away on holidays or out of their city or town of residence, will have to vote by post. So doesn't make sense, and again highlighting that perhaps not as serious as we should be in this place at the moment, I think. Let us know what you think. Last week, as I said, corruption in the postal voting scheme, and now everybody probably going to hand in a postal vote if they are away. Doesn't make sense. The final piece of news, the tourist season is upon us. Spain expects more summer tourists than before the pandemic. Spain expects to receive more tourists in the summer of 2023 than before the COVID-19 pandemic, after international tourist arrivals for April were 1.2% higher than in the same month in 2019, the tourism minister said on Thursday. The data reflects an extraordinary recovery in tourism. Everything seems to indicate that we are going to break records compared to 2019, Héctor Gómez told reporters at a five-star hotel in Madrid. The government forecasts that Spain will receive between 52.3 million and 54.8 million tourists between May and October, slightly up on the number of visitors in the same period in 2019, a record year for tourist flows. So there we go. A bumper tourism season expected here in Spain. Héctor Gómez, the new tourism minister, because as we know, the former tourism minister, Ms. Maroto, went into local politics. She tried to run for the mayor of Madrid, wasn't successful, and her replacement there. So I'm not sure what's happening with Ms. Maroto at the moment, Ms. Maroto, but the new tourism minister optimistic that the pre-pandemic levels are back to stay here in Spain when it comes to foreign tourism. Now, we'll go into the comment section, check out some comments that have been left recently. I'll put the like icon on the screen. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. So hit that like button, please. Maybe you'll be like number 70, 75, or even like number 80 if you hit it. Now, the first comment from Daryl, aka City Fan. All the PP need to do is promise to change the air conditioning law and they will win it hands down. Probably, Daryl. That's all they have to do. Promise to change that air conditioning law that was brought in last year, where air conditioning maximum limits, I think, is 27 degrees Celsius in the summer months, and there's also controls when it comes to heating. That was a story at the time. Haven't heard too much of it since, and I don't know whether businesses are respecting these air conditioning rules and laws currently. Have no idea, but I'm sure that if they promise to bring down or take down some of the laws that have been introduced over the last few years, they will win hands down, as Daryl says. Another comment here from Havanderp. I live inland and am appalled at the animal treatment by the Spanish. Have taken action by calling the police and got severely punished for it. Yeah, don't really understand this comment here. You called the police and got severely punished for it. Who by? Let us know more. This is a story here that would be worth finding out about. Some people have complained in the past about the way animals are treated in this country. In fact, a new law was passed recently called the Ley de Bienestar Animal. Apparently, it was one of the reasons why many people didn't vote for left-wing parties at the recent elections, not happy with laws like that one, the way that they changed the way animals are treated. But I think you only have to look at the amount of dogs that are abandoned every year in this country to know that there are some problems when it comes to the treatment of animals. Portugal also has an issue with the subject. They're trying to crack down on that. They have been trying to improve this over the last decade or so, but it's not easy. And I think when you do go to some of the rural areas of the country, animals perhaps could be better treated. But I'd like to know more about this story here. Another one from David. Off to Portugal's Algarve in a few weeks. They like the English. They never again Spain. Thank you. Thanks, David. I'm sure that you won't be missed here in Spain going to Portugal, because apparently they like the English there, whereas in Spain, according to you, they don't like the English. Well, surprising considering that 20 million of your fellow countrymen come to this country every year and seem to enjoy their holidays here. Portugal, yeah, it is an option, but remember, Portugal is a small place compared to Spain. The Algarve is just a tiny speck on the map if you compare it to what Spain has to offer along that whole Andalusian coast and all of the other coastline that goes all the way up to the Catalonia region. But enjoy your holiday there because, as you said, British people are more appreciated and welcomed in Portugal, apparently. Apparently. I'll say it again, apparently. Another one here from Aniken. I got caught speeding by a camera on the N332 between Alicante and Torrevieja. So many speed limit changes, I didn't concentrate carefully enough and got caught. Yeah, this popped up yesterday because we saw that traffic fines have increased over the last 12 months, apparently, and especially when it comes to speeding and other offences. For example, driving a car that hasn't passed its ITV inspection test. You haven't got your sticker renewed. That's an issue. And as I mentioned last week or the week before, that there are cameras around the country that pick up on registration numbers that haven't got an up-to-date ITV. Driving with mobile phones, people that don't drive with a seatbelt on. As strange as it sounds, in 2023, there are still people driving around without seatbelts on. But speeding is the big one. And as Aniken points out here, sometimes the trap is when you go from 120 down to a 100 or 90 zone, and they put a camera there because now they're using what they call these mobile radars, and it's not the traditional ones that we've seen around the country for the last couple of decades, which is this big box. They've got these mobile ones around the place now, and they are picking people up, especially as we saw there when the speed limit changes and catches people out. So watch out. And also on secondary roads as well, be careful because they are cracking down. I've noticed the civil guard in this area here on secondary roads especially out in force. Lots of controls going on, so they are cracking down. And obviously the revenue is up, and that's what they are enjoying. Another one here from Joe Blogs, similar topic. It's true about the cameras. I've spotted 3 or 4 new speed cameras in Fuengirola in the past few weeks. All thanks to the Coyote app in my phone, and on CarPlay, it tells you where all the cameras are. So that's the trick. If you want to avoid it, according to Joe there, you get yourself some type of app which will tell you where the cameras are, and when the app starts beeping, beep, 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 slow down if you are coming up to one of these camera areas, because you don't want to get one of these heavy traffic fines of over 100 euros, depending on how fast you are going. Of course, if you pay swiftly, you get a 50% reduction in the price of that speeding fine, but better to avoid them altogether when it comes to speeding. Another one here from Cheryl. Thanks for all the updates. We're heading to Valencia next Wednesday, so hopefully things will have calmed down by then. Yeah, the bad weather, which is affecting that part of the world at the moment, Cheryl. Also here in Madrid. Not sure how long it's going to be around for. If I check my weather app here quickly, I'll see that the next 10 days or so that I've got here, it's going to be sunny over the weekend apparently, 25 degrees Celsius here. Not sure in Valencia. But rain coming back next week apparently. So I don't know whether it's going to affect that part of Spain or not. But hopefully it'll only be showers coming over. That might drop a fair bit of rain, but you might get some fairly fine parts of the day, which was the case here. The majority of the day was fine when the rain started around 5 p.m. and was quite heavy, but it's just a shower. So if you get showers, I wouldn't be too upset because that part of Spain, as we know, needs the rain, but hopefully it won't be that continuous rain. Let's hope for the sake of your holiday. Another one here from Mallorca under the sun, Alex. Stu, I travelled back from the east coast to Mallorca this afternoon and got caught in a storm. Lightning and hailstones rained down around my car. Flash floods too. It was pretty scary. Yeah, that was the warning that went out yesterday, wasn't it? Warning people that are in some of these Mediterranean areas at the moment. Madrid and Barcelona were also mentioned. Tourism warning going out to be careful for because of these flash floods. And as Alex points out there, Mallorca yesterday in the car got caught in one and can be dangerous on the roads. There were some images in Murcia. I think it was Murcia City over the last few days. A car tried to go across a road where the rain was flowing very heavily indeed. The water was flowing very heavily and the car just got washed away downhill. Everybody saw that. So be careful if you are out and about driving. Don't try to cross one of these makeshift rivers that pops up when the floods come. So be careful. Probably better to stop the car, wait for it to pass, and then assess the damage and assess the roads and take it from there. That would be my advice. And the final comment here from Jonathan. Hi Stuart, I live in Gibraltar and we're quite concerned about the upcoming Spanish elections and the effect that this could have on cross-border fluidity, particularly if the PP Vox come to power. We were relying on the treaty to grant us access to the Schengen area to improve mobility, which so far has been unaffected by Brexit due to the good faith arrangements entered into by the Sanchez government. Look forward to your views on this. Haven't really looked into it, Jonathan, but if there is a change of government in July, no doubt Gibraltar will be in the spotlight. I'm not sure if the PP is willing to go down a different path. They normally ask, of course, as we know, for Gibraltar to become Spanish again. They are a pro getting Gibraltar back party. The relations with Morocco will also change, no doubt, because they'll take a different stance on the Sahara problem, which the current government changed its view on that last year, I think, and then all of a sudden the relationships between the two countries improved. But no doubt there will be some changes. But whether they go against what you're talking about here, the cross-border fluidity issue, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Remember that Spain has the European presidency, I think, for a 6-month period coming up shortly. And if there is a change of government, of course, then Spain will be in the spotlight. So I don't know whether there'll be any changes to the current agreements there, but we'll stay tuned and keep an eye on it. Thanks for the comment. Now, we'll go into the chat section now, check out what is happening there. I'll change the backdrop. Now, Gino, who sent through a couple of photos last week, we saw one of Asturias. Lots of people said that they loved the photo. So I've got another one of Gino's here, which is Toledo at sunset. I think it's sunset. It could be early morning. Not quite sure, but thanks, Gino, for this one. And showing the magnificent city, the magnificent old Toledo. You don't want to go to the new Toledo. You will be disappointed if you end up there. But if you go to this part of Toledo, you will be impressed by the magnificent city that it is, even though it is a tourist trap. But again, old Toledo, fantastic. New Toledo, give it a miss. Give it a miss. Now, into the chat section. Let's see what's going on here. I'll just scroll up. Let's go here. Andrew is the first one that I see. Muy buenas, Stuart. And all from a bright but cold London, southeast. Hope you are well. Thank you very much, Andrew. I am well, and I hope everyone else is well as well. Maga coming in from El Campello. A warm 25 degrees Celsius today. Earlier, most pleasant. Any storms, Maga? Let us know. Barbara coming in as well on a trip, I think, is Barbara. Benalmádena did the Caminito del Rey walk today for the second time. It's amazing, and I would recommend it to anyone thinking about doing it. A few people in the chat section say that they have vertigo, so they won't be doing that. But good on you, Barbara, for getting out and about and doing the Caminito del Rey for the second time in Malaga. Thanks. Well, if you've taken some photos, Barbara, send them through. Send them through. Pauline coming in from a sunny Rojales. Hi, Barbara. Pauline, hope all is well. Jacques coming in from Johannesburg. The first cold day, 1 degree Celsius of winter down there in South Africa. Julian coming in also. Gracias por hacer tan buen programa informativo. Hi, everyone. Hello, Julian or Julian, if you are Spanish. Jose Antonio coming in saying that he speaks Spanish and some English. Better than the opposition leader, Mr. Feijoo, who had plans to learn, but maybe on the back burner now because he's going to be a busy guy for the next few months, Mr. Feijoo, but has obviously got this far in life without needing a second language, apart from Gallego and Castellano, of course. CL Man also in the chat coming in from Belleville, Canada, Ontario, Canada, 31 degrees Celsius there. Richard coming in from a cooler North Yorkshire, almost needing the heating back on, but still dry. Greetings from the UK. Philip also coming in from Malaga capital today. Summer has arrived, and despite a few clouds earlier, it's been sunny and warm, 24 degrees throughout the day. That's a little cooler than yesterday. Thank you very much, Philip, for that. Enjoying Malaga, of course. Sani coming in from Basingstoke. Hello, Sani. Regular viewer is Sani. Remy with a Y coming in from St. Feliu. Rain-free, an area I think that needs the rain. Diffie's coming in from Montreal. Another Canada viewer. 34 there. So we've got 34 in Ontario, 31 in Ontario, 34 in Montreal. Renan coming in from Southern California, still cloudy there. Thanks, Renan, for that. Janet coming in from Oxford, another regular viewer. Janet. What else? Let's have a look. Let's have a look here quickly. Maikusa coming in from South Florida, there in the States. Stephen coming in from Barcelona, usually catching you on the live, normally an hour or two late. Finished work early, enjoying a cold beer with my dog. Fio, is that? Stephen, good to see you in the chat today, enjoying a cold beer. Estrella Damm in Barcelona, is that what you drink there? Estrella Damm. Alan coming in from Colorado, United States. The president is in town today for the Air Force Academy graduation ceremony, so I'm not leaving the house. The traffic blocks the highways out of control. There we go. The highways are out of control. Thanks, Alan. Mr. Biden in town. Atnar got to learn. Yeah, he did. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, I think. He was advantageous to him for him to learn because he wanted to do business with Rupert Murdoch and company. And I don't think Rupert's fluent in Spanish, so if you want to get through to Rupert, English is the way to do it. And Mr. Atnar realized that he had to learn it fairly quickly, I think, and put in a lot of effort post-politics to learn English because of business interests. Diffie's on the way to Seville 50 days before they get here. Very excited, says Diffie. Hope all goes well with that trip. Gino coming in from Toronto. Thanks for the kind words about my picture and the kind words of others, Gino. They seem to like your photography. And this one, of course, another great shot. Lots of detail in the photo. lots of detail. Alan saying the left has been doing this for ages in the UK. Anyone right of Corbyn is described as far right. The cheek of it, half of those doing the labelling are about as extreme left as you can get. Yeah, I've realised that, it's nothing new, that the far left is just as extreme as other people. They like to tell you what to do, what you can say, what you can do. And if you don't agree with them, you are on the extreme side of the other side of politics. That's the ploy. Janet bets that Rishi doesn't speak Spanish. Don't know personally whether British prime ministers are fluent in other languages. Did Boris, was he a French speaker? Tony Blair, did he speak another language? John Major, was he fluent in... Well, John Major actually, I think, might have had a bit of Spanish under his belt because he used to spend his summers in Extremadura, I think. Don't quote me on that exact part of Spain, but I read recently that because of his connections with this country, and I think one of the famous lawyer families in this country, Garrigues, I think there was a connection there. So John Major probably had a little bit of Spanish under his belt. Don't know. Let's have a look. What else we got going on here quickly? Here we go. The Vox politician Ivan Espinosa speaks perfect American English. He looks bilingual. There we go. Thanks, Jose Antonio, for that. Let's have a look. Kevin coming in from Jaén, I think, normally. If Sanchez cannot see why I'm a PSO paid-up member and we are punished for being with them, I'm ready to resign from these pillocks. There we go. Thanks, Kevin, for those words. Let's have a look what else is going on here. Ginger, so bad where I live, soul destroying, probably referring to the animal treatment, maybe, Ginger, not sure. Let's have a look. There are thousands, hundreds of translators in the Brussels Parliament. Why shouldn't Feijoo have one? He'd have one anyway, but I'm talking about the non-presentational type stuff where you sort of behind the scenes with the negotiations and the networking and that type of stuff. You don't want to have a translator or an interpreter by your side. You want to be able to get the deals done face to face. That would be my point of view. Yeah, okay, let me have a look here quickly. Some people just run over them with their cars. It's really bad. Yeah, well, probably difficult to avoid when people abandon dogs, which I've seen on the highways. Sometimes at petrol stations or gasoline stations, you see dogs running around where they've just been dropped off. And that's a shame. And then they go onto the highway, so sometimes it can be difficult to avoid, unfortunately. But it is a problem that needs to be dealt with. Leslie saying, Tanya asked me the other day how I would compare the quality of life in Australia to Spain. I actually tried unsuccessfully to immigrate to Perth, ended up in Spain, very happy here. Yeah, well, for a lot of British people, and I presume, Leslie, you are from the UK, it's either Spain or Australia for a lot of people, isn't it, right? So those are the two big things. I think younger people probably look at Australia as a place where they can get a good job in the sun and then, enjoy the quality of life in a place like Perth or wherever. I say Perth because, that's what I know. But anywhere down there, it is a big, very popular place where British people move to. And, of course, Spain also, but the language issue gets in the way for a lot of people. So that's one of the main differences. But if you're looking for good weather, both countries have that, And I think that's the key for a lot of people. When it comes to the economy, the Australian economy is a lot different to this one because it's a mineral backed economy, a mining based economy. So there's lots of people working in that, and there's a lot of secondary movement because of the mining industry. But, here there's none of that. It's a tourism economy, services economy, so that's a lot different as well. And, of course, we all know the problems when it comes to getting a job. Not easy to do. Not easy to do. But as long as you're happy, Leslie, that's the most important thing. Doesn't matter where you go, as long as you're happy. Timothy's moving to Madrid in August. How about lunch on me, living around the Retiro? Tim, thanks, Tim. Yeah, absolutely. Get in contact with me when you're here, Tim, and we'll do lunch. Absolutely. Nice part of Madrid, the Retiro Park area. Especially one of my favourite areas actually in Madrid is the, what would it be to the east side of the Retiro. Don't know if that's where you're moving to, but it's a very nice part of the country. Where Diffie's from in Melbourne, there's literally a speed camera on every corner. Pure revenue raising, nothing to do with driver safety. Yeah, the same in Perth, Diffie. Exactly the same. Hild, humans are the most aggressive animals in existence, so it's a good thing there's a new law to protect the other animals a little better. Thank you, Hild. Mink coming in from Long Beach, California. Hello, Mink. Hope all is well. Do I get points against your license in Spain when you get nicked for a motoring offence? Yes, there is a point system in this country, absolutely. And you lose points and a different amount of points according to the offence. So even crossing overtaking, crossing a continuous line, you lose an amount of points. If you get caught using your phone, it's probably 6 points or something like that. And then when your points are up, bang, away your license goes for a period of time. Not sure how long, because I've never lost a point, I don't think. So I can't really say. Janet also confirming that you start out with a certain number of points, 10. I think it's more than 10. I'm not sure exactly how many it is, but I think it's more than 10. And if you commit some offences, that's what happens. Exactly right, Janet. Exactly right. But as I said, I haven't lost any points, so I don't really know. Pamela coming in from San Juan de los Terreros, village in Andalusia, 9 kilometres from the Murcia province. Okay, that's what I asked the other day. Thanks, Pamela, for setting the record straight there. Ed coming in from Barcelona, 23 degrees. Haven't seen much rain for a long time. Just some light drizzle. Yeah, you probably like some of the rain that we're getting here in Madrid. It has been quite heavy, some of the downpours. Joe the Bombero coming in back from Colombia. No comparison with Spain. No, well, South America, I don't think you can compare any country in South America, I don't think. But I stand to be corrected. My experience with South America is limited to Argentina, and they say that that's the most European country in South America. And, it might resemble the centre, might resemble what you would see here in Europe, but go 10 kilometres out from the centre, and the answer is no. Sonny Crockett from Miami Vice is in the chat. Drought, okay, and impact on agriculture and food prices in Spain. Yeah, absolutely, there's an impact, especially on olive oil, Sonny Crockett. The price of olive oil at the moment, unbelievable. I've never seen it so high. I think a couple of years ago we were paying for a litre of extra virgin olive oil supermarket brand around $3.80, and for less than $6 you'd be lucky to get it now. So that's the difference. And other things affected as well. No storms according to Ronnie in Benihoffart. Beautiful day there, 25 degrees Celsius. Let's have a look. Zach coming in from LA. Hello, Zach. Jose Antonio saying that he'd better learn Portuguese. It'd be easy for him since he speaks Galician. Maybe. Maybe he already does speak Portuguese. Don't know. Lennon saying, keep up the good work from Lanzarote. No, I'm not a journalist, but keep up the good work. Thank you very much for that, Lennon. What else we got going on here? Quickly, let's have a look here. Albuquerque, Sucariva Syndrome, New Mexico's in the chat as well. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm coming to the end of the chat, so looks as though it's going to be a shorter live stream. John, how did you learn Spanish? We've tried a few apps, but we need to get our talk up to scratch. I started learning a long time ago, John, and what I did back in Perth, I'd been to Spain a few times and I was embarrassed not to be able to speak any of the language at all. So when I went back to Australia, I enrolled in a government institution there called TAFE. I don't know whether it exists still, but they offered Spanish classes. I think it was once or twice a week. It was similar to the Mind the Language that Diffie just pointed out, where you sort of go in with a group of different people of all different ages, and you learn Spanish from, I think it was from scratch more or less. And I liked that, and then I decided to enroll at university and do a degree in Spanish. And that's when my Spanish really started to go up. I travelled during that time 3 times, I think, to a Spanish-speaking country. I came to Spain twice, and I went once to Argentina in order to practice the speaking side of it, because there was a lot of, reading and writing and things like that. So that's what I did, John. And then, of course, when I got here, I was already fairly fluent, so I hit the ground running, so to speak. But the secret that I found, John, was just not to give up. A lot of people, get to a certain level and they think that they can't go any further. Study for a goal as well, like try to get a language qualification, whether you do the one here in Spain, whether you try to get the A2 or the B1, study for that, and you will see an improvement. And get out as much as you can talking to people, and always put the television, if you can, in Spanish as well. That would be my recommendation. But it's just getting into the language, reading, listening, speaking as much as you can, and not giving up. Very easy to give up, difficult to continue. That was my experience. Jovian coming in from Vancouver, 17 degrees there, the coolest part of Canada from what I've seen so far. Hooked on Spanish politics. There we go. Thanks for that. Rosetta Stone, Serial Chillers, has pointed out that's a language app, I think. Lots of language apps on the market. But again, the secret, it doesn't really matter which one it is. Just stick to it and do as much as you can. That would be my recommendation. Quentin coming in from Grenada, originally from Perth, trying to decide whether to make roots in the EU, Maltese ancestry. Would you rate the times you might have spent in EU countries other than Spain? Well, I've only spent time in Portugal, which I love, and the UK, but a long time ago, so I can't really speak for that. But Portugal, if you want a nice, relaxed style of life, not too stressful, politics is not as chaotic as it is here. Portugal has a simpler government setup. They don't have 17 autonomous communities, and the language seems to be the same from the north to the south. So look into Portugal, Quentin, and remember that Spain's only a short trip away, so you can enjoy the best of both worlds. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here quickly. Louise coming in from Plymouth, 23 degrees there, planning a trip with hubby, hopefully using the fabulous Spanish high-speed train. Do I have any tips? No, I don't have any tips for that. Just make sure that you book your tickets early, because the summer season can get quite busy when it comes to the fast train. It can take you to most parts of the country. Probably use Madrid as a base and then head out to all of the different parts of the country from Madrid. That would be my recommendation. Andalusia, there's lots of places you can visit now with the fast train, north of the country as well. The Valencian coast also. So plenty of places you can get to on the fast train nowadays. I don't know why this comment seems to be popping up 3 or 4 times. Very repetitive, but I just answered it. Thanks, John. Do people just abandon their dogs at gas stations? I'm not a big, but even that's cruel. Yeah, I've seen gas stations where there are dogs literally living at the gas station in the middle of nowhere because somebody's left it there. And, unfortunately, I have seen, and it still sticks in my mind, dogs running up a national motorway, incredibly scared, and no surprise when cars are screaming past them at 120, 130 kilometres an hour. So, yep, that's what we're dealing with, Yusuf. Not everybody, I will say. It's only a small minority, but the minority does damage for the rest of people that are good animal owners. How many points do you lose if you drive over the drink-drive limit? Well, I think you just lose your license, I think. The wife of Nick Clegg is Spanish. Nock Clegg. Has he changed his name by deed poll? Nock Clegg. Yeah, I remember that back in the day when he was prominent in politics. Don't know where he is nowadays, but yeah, when he was he the Deputy Prime Minister there for a while? I remember that his Spanish connection was picked up on here. Angela coming in from Menorca with John. Heavy showers, thunder and lightning here today. Clear and warm now. Yeah, so when you get the showers and it does clear up, I'll accept that. What you don't want is that continuous drizzle for the whole day, is it, when you're on holidays? But a shower in the morning or a shower in the evening. Dave's saying that if Mr. Feijoo thinks he will be able to speak even basic English, and if he's elected, he's in for disappointment, as a lot of us know it takes years to get anywhere near fluent. Absolutely, Dave. Yeah, he's left it a bit late, I think, but he'll, fend it off if he is elected. I mean, we're speaking about the guy as if he's, going to walk into the job. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Gigi coming in as well from Northern California, I think, Gigi. Sunny, but a cold 82 degrees. Last year in Spain, I got caught in a camera speeding in a rural town in a rental car. I got a €90 ticket in the mail back home. There we go. Gigi speaking firsthand about parking tickets. Miguel coming in from, I think Miguel's changed his location today. Today's in Dershire. Haven't heard of that place in the UK. Timothy, Timothy getting back to me on the lunch invitation there, on the lunch date. 20th to 29th, in 5 weeks now, place in La Calamijas, back to Madrid, temporary housing till our stuff arrives from Brasilia. Oh, okay, Tim. Yeah, let me know. TAFE, did I get a woodwork apprenticeship as well? No, metalwork, Diffie. Metalworker, my friend. Metalwork was my speciality at TAFE, and a little bit of Spanish on the side. So you can call me a Spanish-speaking metalworker if you like. Now, I'm at the end of the chat. Linda's husband loved Australia. A lot of people do. A lot of people like Australia. It's a fairly nice country still for a lot of people. Absolutely. Now, I'll wrap the live stream up. Thank you very much for watching today. I didn't thank people for supporting the channel. A few people have bought me a coffee or given a super thanks recently, so thanks for that. All support is greatly appreciated, and I'll be back again on Sunday with another live stream. So thanks for watching. Thanks for writing away in the chat section. I'll be back on Sunday. Hope to see you there. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adiós.